Hello and welcome. I'm Exit Light and this is my podcast. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
As always, living the dream.
Yes, me too. I'm on enough antibiotics to kill a small farm animal, but it's keeping me alive. And I have a sore throat, and I'm thinking, do I really have a sore throat? Do I, do I have a sore throat, or is this just how a throat feels? Am I dying, or is it just my imagination? I don't know. This COVID thing has got me on my last nerve.
It just makes you second guess every feeling and twitch you get. Am I going to die of
Everything.
COVID?
I know. Like, I cut my finger on a knife. Am I going to die of COVID? No, that's not a symptom. Oh. But that fever you have, I want to get that checked out. I don't know.
Oh, dear me.
Rob, do you have an introduction that you have made for today?
An introduction.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, yeah, this is a new thing that I'm going to be doing because I haven't got a life, so it gives me a chance to write something. Not that I'm complaining, but there you go. I haven't got a life. So you ready, Chase?
I'm ready.
Right. Dear ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, for your listening pleasure, today we have the greatest podcast ever. Not naming anyone in particular, but I think I've outdone myself here. Oh, and Tracy's involved as well. I hope you enjoy.
I didn't enjoy it though. I don't know.
Right, is that me done now?
I think we're gonna edit that word out. That was very good, Rob. Thank you for that.
Not a
So,
problem.
before we get started, if you would give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. In my analytics, more people who are not subscribed watch my videos than are subscribed. So, just go ahead and click that subscribe button, and then you can click that bell and you'll know when my content goes live and you don't want to miss it. I mean, this will enhance your life.
No, but on a serious
And
note, we have got a lot of really, really interesting, good podcasts coming up. So
yeah, we do. And we have the 31 days of Halloween coming, which reminds me, hold on. If you want to be subscribed, please be subscribed. Go push that button. We're doing really good on getting subscribers, which I really appreciate you guys very much. Welcome to everybody. If you have your own personal paranormal story, please, and you would like to hear it on this channel, please send it to me. I will narrate it, read it, tell it, give you full credit. And this 31 Days of Halloween, we would like to add your stories, whether they're your true stories or whether you write a scary story, and submit it. And I will schedule it for October, so you won't see it till October. Or you won't, or hear it till October. But we would like to have the community take part. Send it now so I can get it in the queue, because I already have some stuff going up in the queue for October. And that way I can schedule it in. And I think that will be a blast to have the community adding some content. That'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. So, if you want to do that, like I said, start getting it in real quick, because we're almost to September. And I need to get this queue filled out. I mean, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. I like that about myself. So, there might be spots, but out to make double sure in case something changes and I am faster than usual. Go get those in, and I'll put them up. I really want you guys to participate, and you are often telling me that you have stories, experiences, and I want to hear them. Send them. Okay.
Yep.
And Mr. Nomad, I know you have things that you have posted. If you could just put them together for me in one email, I will read them all out loud to everybody in case they've missed your comments about your experiences. Okay, then. What are we talking about today?
Well, this is going to be different than usual. We have decided to pick 4 people each,
Mm-hmm.
alive or dead.
Mm-hmm.
The old adage, if you could invite anyone to a dinner party. So I've picked 4 people, you've picked 4 people, and we're
Mhm.
going to do a dinner party.
Yes, you are.
Let's see how that goes.
I hope it goes better than that one time that we had superheroes versus cryptids or whatever it was. Scary movies things. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was terrible.
so it was a nightmare. I should just take that off my playlist. So who have you invited?
I've invited the main man. I've invited Jesus because obviously I'm Catholic. So any dinner party has got to have Jesus in it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I've invited Bob Marley, who I'm a massive fan of.
Also, a brown-skinned man with long hair. Okay, I see a theme.
Tupac,
Okay,
who supposedly might be dead, might not be.
who knows?
And mate, if you have listened to all our podcasts, a guy called Travis Walton, who allegedly, and I say allegedly, was abducted by aliens, and there was a film made about the whole scenario called Fire in the Sky in 1993. If you want to look that up, but it's very, very interesting man. So who have you invited, Tracy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tracy, I can.
Okay.
I wouldn't be answering you.
Something came up on my screen and said that my microphone was muted, and I was like, okay. Okay, so I have invited John Benet Ramsey. I'm bringing a child because it's an unsolved murder, so I find that interesting. I'm bringing Jack the Ripper, and they're not going to sit next to each other. I'm not even sitting next to Jack the Ripper. We're going to put him next to Jesus. I'm bringing O.J. Simpson, and who's not dead, by the way. And Lizzie Borden. I think half the table should be armed, and the other half should be tied up.
I'll let you decide which half that is.
Okay, so let's start with Jesus.
Let's start with Jesus.
What would you ask Jesus?
I would like to ask Jesus what he thinks of the world now, and I would like to know how all the wars and all the people that are dying in his name, does that disappoint him? That would be one of the things I'd like to ask him. Because I don't think that's what he envisaged when he died on the cross. I don't think that was. People have took that completely the wrong way.
Well, they did from the get-go, right?
Well, yeah.
The Crusades, and by the
Yeah.
way, we're going to ask these people, other than Jesus, if they're guilty. You know, if like let's say Jack the Ripper, they have to answer truthfully. But we're gonna ask it, and the answers are going to be both, so we can ask different questions.
Yeah.
What would I? What was that?
Not me.
Sorry, put my phone on silent.
It's Jesus.
Hello, this is Jesus. What would I ask Jesus?
Sorry.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. I guess.
I can't believe you just said that.
Why?
That is so bizarre. I was watching The Chase in the night, this quiz show, and that was one of the questions.
You're kidding.
No, what happens when a bell rings? And it gives you three answers. You get three answers. You got to pick the worst one: halo, wings, or harp. It was.
Oh.
That is so weird.
Did you get the answer right?
Me, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is, how would then you come out with that? You stop doing that. It freaks me out.
I'm sorry. That does happen a lot.
Anyway, go on. You was going to ask Jesus a question.
I think that I would ask Jesus. Here's a really deep theological question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I would ask Jesus we're supposed to have free will, but
Right.
if he knows everything that's going to happen, okay? He knows everything that's going to happen. He knew you before you were in the womb, etc., etc. When somebody fulfills what you know is going to happen, and the waves that come from that. So let's say there's a murder. The waves that ripple off of there, like the guy whose son was stolen from Sears, and then he went on to have that TV show about America's Most Wanted. So he did America's Most Wanted for like 30 years after his son was kidnapped and murdered, okay?
Yeah.
So the ripple from that murder caused his father to have a TV show that caught hundreds of other murderers or found missing people. So my question is, that was the purpose of that murder, to spur on his father to have the TV show to save another 100 people, let's say 100. Was that the point? And if so, then why would the murderer go to hell if his sole purpose was for this TV show to save 100 other people, or track down 100 other murderers, or whatever it is? Why would you go to hell for fulfilling your destiny, which is what it really is? Same with like Judas. Judas had a destiny. It had to be Judas, and before, if you're Christian and everything, and you believe that everything was planned, or before the earth was even created, then you know that Judas, from the get-go, from Adam and Eve, let's just say forward, to get to Judas, the whole purpose was for Judas to betray Jesus. So why would he go to hell for betraying his purpose in life? Because I don't feel like that's free choice.
Right. Now, we think I think we think differently, feel differently about this whole scenario of free will. I think you have got a choice. You can go left instead of going right. You are given a choice. I think that, let's take the Judas scenario for instance. I think that he did have a choice, and that was a choice that he took. Even though I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer
Did he
it.
have a choice? Did he? How was the events going to unfold if Judas didn't perform the way he was supposed to perform? Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. He told him before the night ends.
Yeah.
So he knew it was going to happen. So was there a backup? Somebody else? Was John gonna step up and betray him if Judas didn't? Or when Judas went left and went right and went left and went right, did he have a choice, but it all came out in the same direction?
I don't think Judas betrayed Jesus for the 30 pieces of silver. I think that was just a byproduct of. I don't think he did. I think Judas, when he was going to go, and he went to the Sanhedrin and he spoke to them, he wanted an audience with them for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just ballooned out of control then. I think that's when your free will comes in. He could have put a stop to it, but he didn't.
Okay.
And I just think it's one of those things that happen, and it just completely got out of control. And he was weak.
I would like to, I guess, to simplify it, I would like to say, is there really free will? Is there really free will? Or do events happen and they happen for a reason? Because there are people who go, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. In which case, there isn't free will. So,
well, I think if Jesus was sat round a dinner table with us, I think the way he would answer that question is yes and no.
Well, that would be perfect.
That would be because and the reason, and I think what he would say is, look at your relationship with Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of coincidence involved,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a lot of free will involved as well. A lot of trust
Right.
involved, a lot of this, a lot of that. But yeah, I think it just depends on. I mean, I don't want the podcast turned into like a religious podcast, but
yeah, that's just my question. That's what I would ask him. So I'm gonna move on from Jesus and give him a break.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go to JonBenét Ramsey. So we didn't have to explain who Jesus was, I don't feel like, but I am going to talk about JonBenét Ramsey. Okay.
Yeah.
So JonBenét Ramsey. She was born on August 6th, 1990. She died on Christmas Day, 1996.
Oh.
She was an American child beauty queen. She was killed at the age of 6 in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. A lengthy handwritten ransom note was found in the home. Her father, John, found the girl's body in the basement of their house about 7 hours after she'd been reported missing. She had sustained a broken skull from a blow to the head and had been strangled with a, what's it called? A garrote? A garrote. Yeah, like Titan. Yeah, okay. Was found around her neck. The autopsy reported that the official cause of death was asphyxia by strangulation, associated with craniocerebral trauma. So, okay. Her death was brutal homicide. The case generated national public media. But nobody was ever. I don't think. Was there somebody who they finally think did it? They 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 thought her father did it. They thought her parents did it, both of them, because they thought she peed the bed, and that bed peeing can be a real trigger in parenting, I guess. So they thought she peed her bed and it was just like when her mom snapped or something. But I don't think that moms snap and do the groat and the other stuff that was done to her. That doesn't even make sense. So moving on, I don't think a father snaps and does that either. That doesn't even make sense to me. The reason they thought it was the father was because the ransom note had the exact amount this guy, her dad, had received and a Christmas bonus, like right down to the cents. And it was like $172,000, or I mean something. I'm off about what the amount was, and 52 cents. And so they thought, well, who would know that, you know? I mean, I have the okay. It was $118,000. That's what his, and that was exactly what his bonus was. So that's an odd amount to ask for, right? And then they asked for ransom when they left the child in the house. So then they thought maybe her brother did it, and I think her brother was like 10 at the time.
No.
So let me see if I can find what they thought that how old the brother was. Hold on, let me look really quickly. But I can't find the brother. But I mean, again, where the garrote is very it's a very odd and violent tool of torture.
Well, they
So I don't like.
believe. Sorry to interrupt you, Chase. They believe that anything like strangling, garroting, it's very personal. So it's usually with someone that you know that would do that. It's because obviously you're very close to the person, aren't you? You've got to be behind them to use the garrote, or to strangle them. You've got to be either with your hands or with something around the neck. So they think it's usually somebody that you will know. Obviously, I've watched too many crime dramas on TV, but it's somebody that the girl knew.
Right. By the way, the brother was 9 years old. His name is Burke. They found pineapple in her stomach that she had just recently eaten. There was in the crime scene photos, there was a bowl of pineapple on a counter, and Burke's fingerprints were on the bowl. So I guess they thought that the parents said that neither one of them had fed her pineapple. I would like to know. It's so funny because I always say these things like, when I die, God is gonna be like, oh no, not this one, because I'm gonna sit down and be like, all right, what happened to John Benet Ramsey? Who killed JFK? What about the UFOs? What's up with that? You know, just all these, like, whatever has ever been shown on Unsolved Mysteries, I'm gonna have like this huge scroll. It's the only reason why I want to be president, to be honest with you. I'd like to read about all these things and know the truth. Although I wouldn't know the John Benet Ramsey thing, but this unsolved murders just bug me, especially with a child. And you know, her mother died. She had cancer. I just can't even imagine. So I'd like to find out who did it.
I'd like to ask her a question.
Okay.
Do you know? I've not seen very much about her. I've seen a lot of programs about the little girls that they use in that do the beauty pageants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they wear all the makeup and the dresses and all the hair's done. And my question would be to her: did she enjoy that? Was it
Right.
fun, or was it just not letting her be a little girl and play and get rough and tumble and get covered in muck and crap and crawling around the floor? And because when I've watched documentaries on the beauty pageants, the kids don't look happy.
You know, some of them really like it, and I think some of them really hate it. I know somebody whose daughter did pageants, and she loved it. She did it actually through, well, she's in college now. She was Miss a state I'm not going to mention because I don't want anybody looking her up. But she loved it. But I think that when you watch those documentaries, I feel like they skew them and pick the ones that kids just really hated. The mothers are just batshit crazy. It's like they're playing with little dolls.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
I also feel like, you know, when they make them like turn around and shake their butts and stuff, you know.
Oh no,
And I just think these conventions are just. Excuse me if your daughter is one of these, and I'm about ready to make you unsubscribe, everybody. I feel like this is a situation where creeping creepers who creep, can show up and spend like the whole 2 days just yuck. Because they're not gonna know if they're not somebody's uncle or father or grandpa or whatever. They can just, I don't know, just like, ugh. That part really bugs me. Why all the makeup? Why all the big hairspray? Why all the, you know, like shaking your butt? And why are we doing this to little girls? And yeah, I would like to know that too. Well, did she like it or not? You know, she might have liked dressing up, you know, looking quote unquote pretty. You know, who knows? I don't know. But it's a way of doing your makeup and being fancy. I think I would have hated it because I'm shy, which is absolutely true. It's hard to imagine. Rob tells me I talk too much, so.
I said it once.
Oh my. We're at a dinner table
word.
where you have to tell. We are at a dinner table with Jesus, for crying out loud. You have to tell the truth. Okay, who's next on your list? Bob Marley.
Well, I wasn't going to do Bob Marley next, but I was going to do Tupac.
Let's do Tupac, which I know you're going to have to educate me because I really don't know anything about Tupac.
Okay, well that's fine.
And I know you love him.
Well, not loving like that, but yeah, I do like Tupac.
Oh, love him like that. Love him like you're a big fan. Yeah. You're a big fan.
Yeah. Right. Tupac was born on June the 16th, 1971. His name.
71.
Yeah. June the 16th, 1971.
Wow. So he'd be, what, 49?
Yeah, he would be 49 now.
Wow. Imagine.
It is. And now, like Tracy's just said, I'm very big fan, but I didn't even know this. He was born Lassane Parish Crooks. That was his name.
Okay, Parrish is his middle name.
Yeah.
I like that.
And his mum, Afeni Shakur, was a member of the Black Panthers.
Oh, really?
Now, she changed his name to Tupac Shakur after an 18th century Parisian revolutionary who was murdered by the Spanish. And so that's why we got the name Tupac Shakur.
She changed his name?
Well, she changed his name.
After he was born?
After he was born, he was named Lassane Parish Crooks. And
How do you spell that first name?
Lesane.
Lassane.
Lassane.
Okay. Huh.
So he was supposedly killed. Well, basically what happened, he was shot 5 times, but he lived, he survived, and a lot of his music and a lot was quite, even though it was supposedly called gangster rap, a lot of it was to do with religion, and a lot of it was to do with talking about Jesus, and that's why I wanted the two to meet. Well, they probably would have met anyway now, but I wanted the two to meet at a dinner table now because I would like Tupac to ask Jesus how Jesus felt about him using his name in a lot of music, a lot of his songs, and a lot of would that be something that Jesus would be happy about? Would that be something that Jesus would really not want to be identified with? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm making any kind of sense.
Yes.
And anyway, he was shot twice. He was shot on a second occasion on the 13th of September in 1996, and he died. But a lot of people think he's still alive.
Huh.
And he was an actor as well as he was a very, very good actor.
He was? What was he in?
Yeah, he was Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson, which was quite weird actually because she said she will only do the film with him if he took an AIDS test.
What?
And he refused. Janet Jackson's people on her said she will only do the film with Tupac if he did an AIDS test.
This is back in the day where they thought you could get AIDS from like silverware and stuff, I suppose, right?
Now, I think they had some kissing scenes and stuff like that. It's years since I've seen the film. I just think it was her being one of the Jacksons. What?
I just think that was her being one of the Jacksons.
Anyway, he did a film called Gridlocked, which was brilliant. It's one of my favourite films with Thandie Newton.
Well, don't you want to know who killed him?
Hang on, I've not got to him yet. I've not got that bit yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, he did this film called Gridlock with Thandie Newton, and Thandie Newton,
I know,
really liked him, and always gets. Go on, sorry.
He dated Will Smith's wife.
Well, they reckon he never dated her. They were best friends. But
well, she says that he was a lover for life.
yeah, I think because Will doesn't know what to do, does he, about that? But that's another podcast.
Yeah, I mean, really, the way she talks about Tupac, they've been having a hard time lately. Two of them with revelations, but she says that he was the love of her life.
She gets very emotional, doesn't she, when she talks about it?
She gets very, very emotional, which is sweet.
But yeah, he died. He was shot again. Yes, I would like to ask him who shot him, who he thinks shot him. I would like, obviously, I'd like the question about Jesus. I'd like him to ask Jesus that question. But
You'd
yeah,
like him to ask Jesus who shot him?
no, I'd like him to ask Jesus what Jesus thinks about the music and what he thinks about he using his name. But I would like to know who. I'd like him to tell me who he thinks shot him.
Do you think he knows?
I don't
You think
think
he
he's
saw
dead.
him?
I don't think he's dead, personally.
What?
There's been loads of pictures of someone living in South America who is an absolute looks like Tupac now. After it looks like a Tupac of our age now. And I remember watching this show. Do you remember? What's he called? He used to have a talk show with a black guy, bald head. Talk show with this black guy. What's he called?
We did?
Yeah, in America.
Oh.
Come on, Trace, you must remember. But anyway, it was this talk show, and they had lookalikes on. So, do you think you look like a certain famous artist or famous person? And this guy put his hand up, so the camera went to him, and he didn't look like anyone. He did not look like anyone famous. So they spoke to him, and he said, "The guy sat next to me looks like Tupac." And the camera went to the guy, and it was, I nearly swore then, it was Tupac. I'm sorry, it was him. I don't care. This guy was either his Siamese twin, and this was after he was supposedly died. Montel, was it? Do you have a program called
Montel Williams?
Montel Williams. It was that program, that talk show. I used to like him. It used to make me laugh. Yeah, so they had the camera switched onto this, and it was Tupac. And I'd like to ask Tupac, was it actually him on the Montel Williams show, or was it just a coincidence?
I don't think so. I don't think if you're trying to hide, you go on to the Montel Williams show, too.
But anyway.
And why do you think that he would have faked his death?
I think he'd had enough. I think that he had everything was just coming on top for him, and I just think that it was just a way of just disappearing and just. I think there was problems going on. He was signed to a record label called Death Row Records.
Yeah.
And the guy that's in charge of that was a guy called Suge Knight. He was about 800 foot tall.
Hold on a second. Did you hear me?
Did I hear you what?
Say the guy's name.
Yeah, Suge Knight.
Are you not proud of me?
Tracy, you know something? I'm so proud of you.
No, I mean, like, I don't really know much about rap, but I know Suge Knight. We're tight. We're like this. That guy couldn't keep his ass out of jail to save his life.
He's still in jail now, isn't he?
Yep. As a matter of fact, is he alive?
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
And
I
don't think he's a very nice person.
No, he robbed Tupac of a lot of money. And I think Tupac just had enough. He just wanted to get out of it all.
Okay, so who do you think killed him? If he did get killed?
Well, the main, I think it's something to do with B.I.G. I think it's something to do with the tit for tat.
Is that why B.I.G. got killed?
Yeah, because in my opinion, because I think Tupac blamed B.I.G. for, or his people for trying to kill him the first time. So, anyway. So go on.
What? Go on what?
Have you got any more questions?
Well, yeah, because you also said some other people that would. When we talked about this yesterday, we talked that Jay-Z would know who it was.
Yeah. I really don't like Jay-Z. I'm not a big fan. Just to say the least.
But, I mean, he was hanging around that crowd and he would probably know.
Oh, yeah, I think he will. I think he will. Yeah, of course he did. Of course he'll know. Of course he'll know. But, yeah, I don't want to say too much, really, about Jay-Z because I don't want to upset anyone who might like Jay-Z and, that whole crowd. Who likes,
okay. Oh, like the Beehive? Beyonce's? The Beyonce fans.
Oh, Beyonce fans, yeah, I think, Beyonce is very beautiful and very talented. And I just think she could have done better.
Oh, well, yeah, I think so too. But
Jay-Z's punching well above his weight.
Yes, exactly. Because I do think she's probably one of the most beautiful women who's ever walked this planet. That's my personal opinion. Okay. I don't have a question for Tupac because, I don't really know Tupac, so I'd have to just introduce myself. Say, pass the champagne.
The Cristal.
The Cristal, Pac. Okay, so Jack the Ripper. Let me tell you a little bit about Jack the Ripper, shall we? Except for I do believe I lost. Oh, here we go. Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer. If you don't know who Jack the Ripper is, I don't know what you're doing here. Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer. I just had the thickest southern accent. By the way, that was odd. Active in the largely impoverished areas in and around the Whitechapel
district of London.
In 1888, thank you. In both the criminal cases and contemporary journalistic accounts, the killer was called the Whitechapel Murderer and Leather Apron. And I don't know, I don't know what it is. And maybe it's because of the Chainsaw Massacre stuff, or I don't know. The Leather Apron is a much more scary serial killer name than Jack the Ripper to me.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. It just it really sums up what he would do. I mean, of course, Ripper does too, but I mean, I just picture like you put the leather apron on and you got like a meat cleaver, and because some people thought that he could have been a butcher
or a surgeon.
Or a midwife who performed abortions, which is why she would know, the anatomy. But yeah, Leather Apron just creeps me the freak out.
I've never heard that, and about the midwife.
Oh, really? I did a video on it, and it's in my playlist under "Was Jack the Ripper a Midwife?" Because they had a midwife they had picked out who performed abortions, and they thought that she perhaps did the abortions and then to, pay retribution for her sins, she would kill the women who had them.
She sounds like a bag of laughs.
That's an interesting idea, I think. And people would trust her. The women would trust her when they saw her. So that is an interesting idea. I, of course, would ask him, "Who are you, Jack?" And I was telling you today that I feel like Jack the Ripper I feel like he's probably very, as you would say, a very posh, well-spoken, well-mannered, well-carried kind of a guy if he's not a midwife. I don't think he was a butcher. Butchers get up too early in the morning to be roaming the streets in the middle of the night for hookers.
A lot of people think he was a member of I would ask him if he was a member of the royal family, because a lot of people think he was a member of the royal family.
Really? But wouldn't that be somebody some people would notice out and about? Other hookers had prostitutes. I don't know what we're supposed to say in this right here. I don't know. I just threw away any monetization I had hopes of having. I don't know. I mean, don't you think they wouldn't keep that quiet if something was happening, right? Or, I mean, he'd be a member of the royal family would be easily recognizable, maybe.
Oh, he was one of the sort of sons or cousins or something. It wasn't like the king.
Oh. And they kept it quiet?
Yeah, it was kept quiet, and because one of the, I don't know if it was the king or supposedly had syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that he caught it off a prostitute.
Oh.
And he was starting to go a bit crazy in the head. And that's why he started to go out and start killing the...
That's what they should have taught us in sex ed class. If you get syphilis, this is what that looks like.
Yeah.
So they think that, according to a study in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, the man known as Jack the Ripper is likely Aaron Kaminsky, who was a 23-year-old barber of Polish descent who lived in London at the time. That's who they believe was Jack the Ripper. Polish, a barber. That doesn't really... I mean, I get the whole razor thing, but that isn't... This guy was supposed to, have, precision knowledge of a human anatomy. I think that's a very unsatisfying answer. I think Bigfoot would be a better one. And you know what's weird is that he's known to have killed 5 women for sure. 5.
Well, he killed a lot more than that, I think.
But don't you feel like it was 1,000? The way we talk about Jack the Ripper. It just feels like it was so massive that people closed their shutters and nobody walked the streets at night except for the people who walked the streets at night. It just feels like it just feels like it was a huge amount. So, I mean, 5 obviously is, don't write to me, don't come for me. 5 is a lot. I get it. But it's just the whole Jack the Ripper lore is much, much larger than the actual real
Well,
story.
it's funny you should say that, because it's like the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe. I can't remember how many. I think it was about 18 or 12 or 8. I can't remember. But when you said about shutting your doors and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that's literally what happened. People were scared to go out at night, especially women. They would. As soon as it got dark, the only people that were about were prostitutes
Hmm.
and people that had to be out, and
Hmm.
that's how bad it was. People were so scared to, yeah, they just didn't go out at night.
Well, there is an Austin Ripper that was in Austin, Texas, that for a long time people believed was Jack the Ripper. Um, he hadn't quite mastered the anatomy part, so it wasn't like so as smooth. But they believed that well, he was a cook and a butcher in a restaurant. He killed prostitutes who were working the streets that he had to walk on his way home, and then he got on a ship and went from the United States over to Britain, and they figure he continued. But was a theory for a long time, and still is, that Jack the Ripper actually got his start in Austin, Texas,
Well,
which a lot of people probably do not know.
I'd not heard that, but another thing that I'd heard that has been sort of looked at, H. Holmes?
Yes.
It was him.
H. Holmes was American.
Yeah, but he came to England. He did the
For the
Ripper
World's Fair.
crimes,
Yeah.
something like that. He came to England and he committed the crimes. Then he came back to America
Hmm.
and started being H. Holmes, the hotel entrepreneur. I can't say that word. Where he made,
Entrepreneur.
yeah, which isn't that crazy,
No.
you know.
Well, that's why I want him at this dinner. I want to see the face of this guy. What does
Pure
you know?
evil look like.
Yeah, what does that look like? Because the range is like Ted Bundy and Sharon Tate's guy.
But oh,
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson.
Yeah. Can I tell? Do you guys mind if I tell you a real quick trivia story about Charles Manson?
Oh, go on.
Okay, so there was this guy, and I have to give credit to Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe has a book called The Way I Heard It. I listened to it at night. Anyway, the point of the story is there's this guy. He was a fantastic musician. He wrote music. He played the guitar. He sang, had a gorgeous voice. And he met a famous drummer of a very famous band. Very famous. And that famous drummer introduced him to a music producer and said, "You've got to hear this guy. It's going to blow your mind." So the famous music producer listened to him play, and he wrote a song specifically for that audition. And he knew, like, he blew it out of the park. He knew that the audition could not have gone better than it did. And he was right. The producer said, "That is amazing, and we need to do a record." And so the drummer guy and the guitar singer guy got together, put a record together, and the famous producer said, I don't like this music. I want you to do it like this way, you know, like more like the audition song he had heard. And the singer and the songwriter said, that's not how it works. I do my art. So you gotta either like it and do the record or you're not. So the guy said, then I'm not. So the famous drummer guy went back to playing with the Beach Boys, and the famous singer guy was in a not the famous singer, the singer guy was in a record store one day, back when there were records, and he picked up a single, whatever those ones were called, and the Beach Boys had released a new song, and he listened to it, and he didn't think it was anything special, but he turned over and listened to the B-side, and if you don't know, the B-side always had to was always like a kind of throwaway song.
Yeah.
So he listened to the B-side. The B-side was the exact song that he had played and wrote for that audition. It was the song, they had just changed the name. So the famous writer guy got really pissed off at the producer guy. The writer guy went on to be Charles Manson, and the producer was the husband of Sharon Tate.
Whoa. That's a bit spooky.
Yeah. How's that, you guys? Did you like that, huh? You got a little education while we're at it. Yeah. Pick up that book by Mike Rowe. If you like that, pick it up because it's pretty good. All right. You're next.
Right. I've not done Travis Walton yet, have I? No, I haven't.
No.
Right. Travis Walton was a logger. He worked basically cutting trees down. Apparently, there was a group of them on the way back after work one night in an old pickup, and they saw a light in the sky, and the light came down, and Travis Walton was one of the group of 5 of them. He got out of the van, of the pickup, walked over and was looking up, directly up at this saucer-shaped object, which was hovering probably 20 foot above the ground. This happened on the 5th of November, 1975.
Really?
Yeah, and basically he disappeared. A beam came down and he disappeared. No one, the group of guys went into town, told the sheriff. Sheriff came out, looked round, couldn't find anything. They actually got accused, or the sheriff thought that maybe they'd killed him and dumped his body somewhere. But anyway, after 5 or 6 days, he just reappeared. And he said that he'd been abducted by aliens, and he had spent the last 5 days basically being probed. And it's not as much fun as it sounds. And they did polygraph tests, and he's had loads of polygraph tests, and each one he's passed with flying colours. The other guys have had polygraph tests to about to the point where he disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
and them seeing the saucer, and they've all passed as well. And I would like to ask him. Firstly, and I'd like to ask him two. Well, I would have a million questions, but I would like to ask him: is it true?
Mm-hmm.
Did it really happen? And I'm hoping the fact that Jesus is at the table, he'd have to be telling me the truth. And
Right.
I would also like to know what happened. I would be so. I would just want to know what happened, even though it might not be very pleasant for him to Well, he must have
Mm-hmm.
told the story a million times now. So, but I would really, really like to know. And if anyone is interested in this, if you go on eBay or Amazon, there is a film called Fire in the Sky, and Robert Patrick's in the film. I think he plays Travis Walton, and it's really, really good. The film, really, really good. Have you got any questions you'd like to ask Travis? No.
No, because I think my questions would be the same as your questions.
Yeah.
I guess I would want to know, like, did it really happen? Because remember, they're supposed to be able to. They have to answer us truthfully.
Yeah, they have to answer us truthfully. Yeah.
So I'd like to know, did it happen? And if not, why? Why did he tell all the bullshit? But if so, like, well, I mean, the government's admitting we. That's so funny because in 2020, the government admitted that we have UFOs, and everyone's like, anyway.
So yesterday.
Yeah, it's like about those masks though. So and as I've said on here 100,000 times, I've personally seen a UFO. Rob's personally seen a UFO. So like maybe we can ask Jesus why they picked him. Maybe we can ask him why they picked him. Maybe he knows. I don't know. Why didn't we have an alien to dinner?
Oh yeah, we could have done, couldn't we?
Oh my God.
Maybe Jack the Ripper was an alien.
Maybe Jack the Ripper was a cryptid or a skinwalker. That's why nobody knew who he was. Looked like a stray dog. It just looked like a stray dog. Okay, Rob has to get off of here pretty soon, so I have to hurry with mine.
Well, you don't have to.
I'll hurry.
Don't blame me like that.
No, it's okay. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm just saying I can't talk very much, like usual. So probably no more trivia. I'm sorry, you guys. Thank Rob. Okay.
Cheers. That bus didn't hurt at all.
Okay, so O.J. Simpson.
O.J.
Okay, so O.J. Simpson. I have to tell you. Okay, sorry, it's already started. O.J. Simpson. I remember watching his white Bronco, going down the highway. I was very pregnant. It was like June, I think. So I think it was June. I was very pregnant. As a matter of fact, why don't we find out what day it was? What shall we? Yeah, it was June 12th. Boy, that was good. My husband was coming home from work, and we had date night. We were going to go to Mexican food, and I did not want to leave my house. But he made me. So we went to the Mexican food restaurant, and they had it on the TV there, so we all got to watch it. And when O.J. Simpson got arrested, I looked at my husband and said, holy shite, he killed her. His face, there are people who get on and they cry and they ask for their child to be returned. And like, there's that woman who put her two boys like in their car seats, and she put them in the water, and then she got on TV and said said some black guy carjacked her and took the babies and all this stuff, and she was crying. Well, she was like, and I said she killed her kids. That woman killed her kids. I think you can tell.
Yeah.
When it's fake. Are you okay?
Am I okay?
Are you running around?
Now I'm putting my legs on.
You're putting your legs on. Okay.
Sorry.
It sounds like you're running around.
No,
like you got a jockey on your back.
No, that's only on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I laughed too loud then. I didn't mean to laugh that loud.
Anyway, there's that from the get-go, the look on his face, anyway. So, he was accused of killing his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman. Let's not forget Ron Goldman. At about 12:10 a.m. on June, two counts of murder for the June 12th, 1994. But at 12:10 a.m. on June 13th, Brown and Goldman were found stabbed to death outside their Brentwood condominium. Of course, I watched every single minute of the trial. Every minute. It was the beginning of 24-hour TV. And I watched every single minute. I watched every single lawyer afterwards talk about what they think happened. And everybody said that the people just couldn't follow along with the DNA science. I think that was a ridiculous thing to say. We are not stupid. But they did go on and on about the DNA. My mother was in the hospital. My mother had a congenital heart issue, which was strange because I didn't even know she had a heart up till that point. But
sorry, big jolt then.
I had been at the hospital right when they were giving the verdict, and I was driving home. And I'm like, I lived in like 3 blocks from the hospital. I was like, no, wait a minute. I can't have watched this for 9 months and then missed the verdict. And I'll never forget it. That was, in my personal opinion, that was the case of the century. So I would like to ask him so I want to do this. First, he says, yes, he's guilty. And I want to say to him, how in the F do you look your kids in the face? How do you look them in the face? How do you wake up every morning and look in the mirror? Yeah.
Can I ask a question here? Because I'm very confused.
Yeah.
Right. I remember the footage of him driving down the motorway.
Uh-huh.
Now, okay, so, yeah. Did he get away with it at first?
He got away with it, period. They acquitted him.
Right, okay, that's my question.
Yeah, right. They acquitted him.
That
whole thing where he stretched his hand out like the length of my foot and quote unquote tried to put a 2-year-old dried bloody glove on his hand.
How? What I don't understand is, okay, they're chasing him away from the scene of the crime.
No. Okay, let me explain this to you. Because you don't live in America. What do you know? What happened was, the next day they found the bodies, and I've seen the like actual pictures. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was extraordinarily brutal. I mean, like, uh, she had been standing out there with this guy who happened to be a waiter at the restaurant that they had all gone to dinner with because there was some after school thing, and whatever. My and she forgot her sunglasses, and this guy knew where she lived, and they were kind of like had mutual friends. So he took the sunglasses to her house. She met him outside. While they were out there, they were brutally, brutally, brutally murdered. The guy tried to protect her, had defensive wounds everywhere, and her head was almost gone. Okay. They went. They notified OJ because his kids were he had kids with her. Blah 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 blah. They found like a blood print, a fingerprint in his Bronco. They found something behind his house. The guy that he had living with him heard somebody come over the wall of the property. Blah 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 blah. He got dressed, or he left and went on a plane to go do something. When they were doing the investigation, they realized that he had beaten her, and there had been several calls to 911 where she would say, he's going to kill me, he's threatening to kill me, he's beating me. They were separated, but he was very jealous and possessive, and so they think that what happened was he saw her outside of her house with a man and got into a rage. Like he was wearing this pair of shoes, and they showed this pair of shoes, and they were like, do you like, I think they're like Ferragamos, which they were hand stitched Italian, like 2 people in the world can afford them. And they said, have you ever seen these shoes? And he's like, I've never seen those shoes. I would never wear those ugly shoes. And then they found there's like pictures of him because he was a sportscaster wearing the shoes. And, those were the footprints that were left from the murder scene. These super expensive Ferragamo shoes. What happened is that he knew that they were going to come arrest him. So he had his friend that he'd known forever and ever, they played football, drive him. And while he held a gun to his head saying he was going to kill himself, it wasn't a chase. It wasn't a car chase. It was a slow, like 25-mile-an-hour stroll down the highway where people were like on the overhead bridges waving and go OJ signs. It was the most appalling visual you've ever seen in your life. And then they talked him into coming home and arrested him. But they made a deal with him that they wouldn't arrest him in front of people. They would, take him in the house, and they wouldn't put handcuffs on him when they took him in, because he was effing famous as for a sports star, and he was in movies, and he was famous for commercials, and he was a bigger than life guy with that huge smile and a warm personality, and I'm your buddy, and everybody loved OJ except for he beat his wife on a regular. And so that's the scene. That's the whole Bronco scene.
Right, I understand now. I completely had it differently. I just wondered how it still beggars belief how he got away with it. But
do you know the Kardashians? You know who the Kardashians are?
Yeah.
Their father was one of his lawyers.
Right. Okay.
He had a lot of lawyers. That they did their job, but I would like to know, like, did you do it? He was sued civilly and they found him guilty, but they can't take his football pension, so he lives like royalty, and they can't take any of the money he makes. He won't work a job. He did go to prison for, I don't know, 10 years or something, because it's a long story. He went to prison for like holding somebody hostage. What happened was he wouldn't let him leave the hotel room. And I think my personal opinion isn't like you. If you haven't been able to notice, I'm not an O.J. Simpson fan, but I kind of think that the judge kind of said, "I'm going to give you the maximum so that you get jail time for what you did." Um, which you can think about that however you think about it, but and if you said yes, I just want to know like how did you how did you fake like your OJ Simpson shit afterwards? Like, still put that fake ass smile on and shit. And if not, if you didn't kill them, then how horrible is it that no, no, nobody believes you? You are ostracized. Um, I mean, her family hunts him down every day, like the fox and the hound, to get any money they can get out of him, and they should. But unless he's not guilty, then what do you? Because they won the civil suit. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about your your legacy is not going to be O.J. Simpson, the football star. Your legacy is going to be O.J. Simpson, the murderer. Because then he went and wrote a book and said the book was called "If I Did It," and this was after he was acquitted because you can't be tried twice on double jeopardy. He wrote a book about it and said, "If I did it," and he went through the whole situation and pretended like he was telling you about the murder. He came upon them together. He got this jealous rage. She was screaming, and he had to slit her throat. And this other kid was the kid that Ron Goldman was fighting him off, and how he got out the back, and how he got home and all this shit. And people consider it to be a confession. So if you didn't do it, why did you write that book? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
I would really like, that's one of those things I would really like to just sit and go. I mean, are you pure evil or are you a victim?
He doesn't sound like, he sounds like a bit of a nasty piece of work.
I think he's pure evil. I think he's pure evil, but I mean, the evidence I heard in the courtroom, I would have convicted him in a heartbeat. But then they had this racist cop who planted evidence, and you're like, well, once that shit starts happening, it gives you a little bit of a doubt, and that's what you got to base it on if there's any doubt. Mark Furman, he moved up to Washington, got on a radio show. Boy, was my dad pissed about that.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, I did talk a lot.
That's okay. I'm all right for time.
Okay, so would you ask O.J. Simpson any questions?
Similar to what you said, to be quite honest with you, I'd want to know, did he do it? Well, it's pointless really asking that question, but I would ask it anyway.
Yeah, because he has to tell you the truth.
He has to tell me the truth. And, I've got this big problem with this crimes of passion. That is crap.
Mm.
I don't agree with that at all. It's either murder or it's not murder.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Obviously, you don't agree with that.
Oh no, I just I don't know. I guess I think if some of it, I don't know. I think that's why we have degrees of murder. Because if you walk in on your fiance and they're sleeping with your sister and you kill them, that would be a crime of passion, murder. But you could also call it like third degree murder, which means you didn't have any time to think about that response at all. You just did it. So third degree is lesser than first degree, and so I guess that's kind of the same reason for having degrees.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I didn't realise that he had children with her.
Yeah, too.
2 children. And how does he feel about taking the mother away from the children?
Mm-hmm.
You know, does that bothering him anyway, or is he just not bothered?
Yeah.
It sounds like he's just in it for himself more than anything.
Yeah. I'm not a big O.J. Simpson fan. Man, he's one of those people where I just see his face and want to punch him. Sorry. I totally think he's guilty. And just the beating your wife thing. I mean,
yeah,
no respect at all. So, okay, who you got next?
Bob Marley.
Okay,
I love Bob Marley.
I don't know very much about Bob Marley, but I do know that when I went to Jamaica, I heard him all the time. Does that help?
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves will free our minds. Sorry.
Nice.
Sorry about that, everyone. If anyone's still tuned in, we're talking about Bob Marley. Born in 1945, 9 Mile, Jamaica, and he died on the 11th of May, 1981, at University of Miami Hospital in Florida, in the United States of America.
How old was he?
45.
45?
No, he was born in 45 and he died in 81. He wasn't old. 45, 50, 60, 70, 80. Oh yeah, he's only 36.
No. Is that true?
1945 to 1981, that's wrong, isn't it? 45, 1950, and 50, 60, 70,
1945, and what year did he die?
1980, so he was 40, nearly 50 years old.
This is 35. Say it again. He was born in 1945.
45.
Minus 19. What year? 19 what?
1981.
Yeah, he was 36 years old.
It's nothing, is it? Died of skin cancer.
He did?
Yeah.
Huh.
Died of skin cancer.
So what would you want to ask him?
I would love to ask him. Firstly, I would like to thank him because I really, really listened to his music a lot growing up, and it really helped me. And I would like to ask him, similar to what I wanted Tupac to ask Jesus, I would like to ask. I always find it difficult working out Rastafarianism to Christianity.
Why?
Because it's not the same, is it?
I have no idea. Is Rastafarian a religion?
Yeah, it's to do with yeah, it is a religion, but I would just like to know if he believed in Jesus and if he believed in Christian values, because a lot of these songs he mentions like the Almighty and stuff like that. But I would like to know what he actually believed.
Hmm.
That's basically it.
Just for the record, I think you can have values that you don't have to be Christian.
Oh yeah, obviously I know that. I was just saying about when I say about Christians, I probably used the wrong word there. That I was more going along the lines of, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Christians? Do you believe were you a Christian? Were you? Because I like to listen to music that that mentions God and mentions. I don't know. I like it. I just do. And it just makes me wonder whether he was or he wasn't. I don't know.
So isn't Jamaica Catholic country?
A lot of people in Jamaica are Catholic.
Yeah, also like Santeria, but isn't it? Yeah, it's Catholic.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any questions to ask him because I don't really know much about him. So I would have to let you. We could maybe ask him to sing. I do love reggae.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. I love it.
He got shot as well. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he got shot. And he got shot. It was 2 days before he was due to go on stage to do a concert. And he went on stage anyway and did the concert, even after getting shot. Even after getting shot.
Well, I assume you like reggae.
I love reggae. Well, no, actually, no, Trace. I'm not a massive fan of reggae. I'm a massive fan of Bob Marley. I wanted to call Keisha when my youngest daughter was born. The first name I came up with was Marley. I wanted to call her Marley, and then obviously my surname. But we decided to call her Keisha Marley. So it's Keisha Marley.
Ah, interesting.
And I tell her all the time.
Both of them are singers.
Yeah, I never thought of it. Yeah, Keisha. Yeah.
Well, I danced in the ocean to reggae music after a few pina coladas. Not gonna lie. And I loved it. It was awesome. The water is clear. You can see right through to the spiky mollusky thing I stepped on I told you about. And it was great. I had a lot of fun. So maybe we could go on vacation there once. Take the kids, go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
They were trying to get my youngest to drink rum. I was like, dude, he's just a child, but they don't care.
No.
So, well, do you want me to go on? Because I have one, but I'll make it quick. Lizzie Borden.
Ooh.
So I would love to see Lizzie Borden in person and feel her. Yeah, just get the vibes off of her.
All right, okay.
And I would love that. So Lizzie Andrew Borden. And why did I not know that her middle name was Andrew? I don't know. She was born July 19th, 1860. She died June 1st, 1927. 1927? Wow. That's weird. Was an American woman who was the main suspect in the August 4th, 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts, where, if you would donate to this channel, in the link below or on my main my main page, there's a link to PayPal that YouTube has given me. Rob and I are going to go through Massachusetts, through the England area, go to all the scary places, and we want to spend the night at the Borden house, which we will do for you and record it and put it up on this channel. She was tried and acquitted of the murders. Most people say because she had a lot of money. She went by Lizbeth Borden.
I heard it was different than that about her getting away with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard that she had the same lawyer as O.J. Simpson. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at your own joke.
I think she did. Where was I? Her dad's name was Andrew. That's why her middle name was Andrew, I guess. She had a sister named Emma Borden and a sister named Alice Borden. But she died as an infant. She had a stepmother named Abby Borden who, well, she died from a bad headache. And her uncle's name was John Morse. She ended up dying of pneumonia at 66 years old. So I'd like to ask her, like, the same thing as I'd like to ask OJ. Did you do it? And if so, why?
Why?
What was going on in that house? Was there a reason, or did you just lose your shite? Or was there, like, what was going on in your head? Were you jealous? Did you hate the stepmother? What's happening? And if you didn't do it, again, how is it going through life and the rest of history with school kids jumping rope, talking about Lizzie Borden, 50 whacks and shit, a shite? How is it going through life? Literally, people making up songs about you being a murderer. And she stayed living in that house, like.
Yeah.
Would you want to be one of her? I don't even know how would you act as her neighbor. How do you even? Good morning. Well, just the strangest thing.
You're not going to be nasty to her, are you?
No, you're going to be very, very kind. But you would think that she was probably be like very shunned, or maybe they believed her because she did get acquitted. So maybe
yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I'd like to ask her what it was like if she was innocent. What do you think of your legacy now?
Yeah.
And if she was guilty, think, she spent the rest of her life alone. Because who was gonna marry her? What was that like? What was it like living as a murderer, knowing that you killed your dad, your stepmom, and how you did it? Because the way they were killed was like just plain anger.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration taken out.
Overkill, yeah. So that's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Are you done?
I am, yes.
I am done as well, and we're doing good. We're ready to wrap it up.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Breathtaking.
Doing podcasts with you, Tracy, is like all my Christmases come at once.
Well, thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I feel the same about you.
Because you're the perfect, pretty princess.
That's what I hear.
Perfectly flawed. Sorry, pretty princess.
That's perfectly flawed. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Just like to tell people, if they are contacting with any stories for Halloween, you have to address Tracy as perfect, pretty princess.
Please
Oh,
do not do that.
she won't answer you.
Please do not do that. um, look below for the link to the merchandise and to donate to the channel. Any amount of donation is so greatly appreciated. I hope you buy the merchandise. It's getting to be almost fall, so there are hoodies, sweatshirts on there, a whole bunch of different colors, and I'll wear mine. You wear yours. When we see each other in public, we can be like, "Hello," and it'll be. I'm a little awkward because I'm very shy, but please give this video a thumbs up and
Yep.
subscribe. And click that bell if you'd like to be notified of my content. I'd appreciate that very much. And good night.
Good morning.
Good night or good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Tracy.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.